John Mayer. When I was going through probably the roughest patch of my life, John Mayer, oddly enough, played a very big part of that. His music. Now, you may be wondering, where am I going with this? I was there was a time when I was searching for any kind of normalcy because nothing made sense to me what was going on with my life in 2017. And in search of trying to find something to make me feel good, something to make me feel like me because my world was upside down. I went to a John Mayer concert by myself. Uh, I've always liked John Mayer, um, but I had never seen him in concert. And I didn't have anybody to go with, and none of my friends that I knew at the time liked John Mayer. Uh, I didn't have any female friends. I was literally still married, facing a divorce. So it was literally just me. So I said, the hell with it. I'm going to buy a ticket and I'm going to go to this John Mayer concert by myself. And that was the beginning of me learning to adjust and get comfortable doing things alone, which is hard for a lot of people. Some of you guys may be listening saying, I would never go to a concert by myself. And I hear you because that was me. I wouldn't do anything by myself. I always felt like I needed somebody, you know what I mean? But I went to this concert and I had a really good time. I got me a drink. We have this venue called the Shoreline out here in the Bay Area, and I went to the top where the grass is. There's seats in the amphitheater, and then the second row there's more seats, and then the third row is just a lawn that goes all the way up in an angle, and then they have big screens that you can watch the show on the screens, or you can just peer down and see the stage. So I went and bought lawn seats, and I went out there and I had a good time. I didn't realize how many John Mayer songs I knew, but I knew a lot of them. And, in my time there, I shared a photo of me, just being at the Shoreline, and I remember putting it on Instagram, and one of my friends saying, are you at that concert by yourself? And I'm like, yep. Like, why'd you go by yourself? That's hella weird. And I was like, man, because I really wanted to see John Mayer, and I didn't want to wait, and I didn't want to ask anybody who didn't really want to go. So I came. And that was that. And now I remember, standing there, and I remember this. There's a lot of women that go to John Mayer concerts, if you don't know. But I remember this group of older women that were like, I felt like they were staring at me. They were sitting on a blanket all together, and they were like, excuse me. And I looked down, I was like, yes. And they're like, are you by yourself? I said, yeah, I came by myself. And they're like, why are you by yourself? And I said, I wanted to see John Mayer, and nobody wanted to come. So I figured I'd come and buy me a ticket. And they're like, you need to have a drink with us. And they were drinking. There was no funny business going on. Like I said, I was still married at the time. I was still, wanting to be with my wife. I was still trying to figure out how I was going to save my marriage. But they offered to, pour me some wine that they had. And I ended up sitting there and chopping it up with them for like 30, 40 minutes. And it was fun. It was cool. We had a great conversation. They thought it was extremely cool that I came by myself. They were like, wow, first of all, you coming by yourself is a big step because I kind of had told them what I was going through, and and a couple of them told me that they had gone through a divorce and whatever, and we were just having like an adult conversation, and then they were like, and to be a man coming by yourself to a John Mayer concert, that's a big deal. And I said, really? Because I don't think it's that big of a deal. And they were like, no, that this, women to come see John Mayer, that's not such a big deal. Women love John Mayer, but you coming, man, that's kind of a big step. So is this going to be a thing that you're trying to do with yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on this journey of, trying to get comfortable with who I am. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save my marriage. I don't know if we're literally still going to get a divorce. I have no idea. This is so fresh that I don't know. But I'm trying to prepare myself for the possibility that this is going to happen. Um, and part of that is learning how to be by myself and learning how to adjust. So I guess this is like one of the first steps. Um, but I'm telling you this story because obviously this leads into where I'm at now. You know, things have been going really good for me. A lot of my prayers have been answered. A lot of the things that I've been working towards are starting to happen. I'm getting the opportunities that I've been working for. I'm opening doors for my children to have opportunities. And God has definitely been blessing me. My relationship with my ex-wife is probably the best it's ever been. We get along great. Um, I'm just, I'm in a pretty good place right now. I always tell you guys when I say that, don't think that I'm living the life, things can always be better, right? But compared to where I've been, I'm in a really good place right now. And the reason why I bring up John Mayer is because, one of the episodes recently I told you everything comes full circle, right? Everything comes back around. And a couple weeks ago, I walked into a Lucky Supermart, and as I walk in there, I'm in a good mood because I'm about to start, training with the high school where I'm working at, and training the kids there for baseball, and I got some great new information that I'm gonna be able to, it looks like I'm gonna be able to transfer my son, and I'm just excited. Things are moving. I'm in a great place and I'm feeling good this day. And when I walk into Lucky's, I hear a song that's really familiar to me, and it's Love on a Weekend by John Mayer. Love on a weekend, love on a weekend. Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's the song that's playing. And I stop in the middle of the aisle and I just close my eyes and I remember being at that concert and I remember exactly that night and where I was and how I was feeling prior to getting to that concert, being at that concert, and after that concert. And I remember everything that was going on at that time. And then I opened my eyes and I thought about where I am right now, 7 years later. And I smiled and I looked up at the sky and I said, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for telling me, hey, remember this? Remember where you were? Now think about where you're at right now. I needed that. I really needed that. It just brought everything together. It tied everything together. And I just smiled so big, man, because it made me feel good. And I want to tell everybody, the dads who are maybe going through what I went through, I want you to know that if you Do not give up on yourself. If you don't throw in the towel, if you continue to move forward, if you keep trying to be better every day, and I'm not talking by leaps and bounds, I'm talking about baby steps every day. If you get up every day, let's say, man, you're like, I want to get up early every day. I'm going to go to the gym. Let's say you do that. And then a couple days here and there, you're dragging ass, you get out of bed a little late, but you still go to the gym, or you still read your Bible, or you still journal, or you still do whatever you're supposed to do. Make sure that you're moving forward every day. It may not be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. But as long as you're trying to move forward every day, and you're truthful with yourself, you're honest with yourself about where you are falling short and where you need to get better. That is a key. You have to be truthful with yourself. And if you're fucking up, you have to be truthful with yourself. You have to say, this isn't acceptable. This doesn't take me to where I need to go right now. I've got to stop doing this. You have to have those talks with yourself. And if you do, if you have those talks with yourself, if you continue to get up every day and take steps to get better, you don't run to alcohol, you don't run to drugs, you don't run to sex and abusing any of that stuff. You run to God, you run to positivity, you run to your children, you run to your Bible, you run to your journal, you run to the gym, you run to anything that is going to make it positive, anything that is going to keep you on the brighter side of things. I promise you, you will get through what you're going through. Divorce, separation, moving out of the home that you once called your own with your family, being separated from your kids, now they're in between two homes. You will overcome all of that. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you that I know because I'm there, I've been there, and I can tell you where I'm at now. It isn't all roses over here, but I'll tell you what, man, it is so much better than what it was. But you have to be honest with yourself. You can't pussyfoot around and lie to yourself, because you're not hurting anybody but yourself. Let me correct that. Besides yourself, you probably, if you have kids, you're hurting them, because you lying to yourself and not being truthful to yourself eventually trickles down to your kids. And that's never good. It's never good. I talked to you guys about me journaling. I've been journaling a lot, just writing a lot, getting my thoughts out every day. And there are days that I miss, and then I get back to it the next day. But I've been writing a lot more. I can tell you all the things that I do to try to help myself stay in the best mind frame. Remember, I told you guys about, your peace being, it should not be compromised. There are a lot of things that I do to try to, make sure that my peace is not being compromised. And that's reading. I read a lot. I journal. I do this podcast. I go to the gym. Sometimes I'm with my kids. Sometimes I'm by myself. I go for walks. I go do things by myself. Tonight I went to the movies with my boys, but there are a lot of times I go to these movies by myself. Sometimes I'll go to a coffee shop, not a Starbucks, not a Pete's Coffee, not nothing. I go to a small hole-in-the-wall coffee spot, little donut shop, and I'll have coffee and a donut by myself. I do these things on purpose. It just keeps me away, and it isolates myself. Sometimes I don't ever watch TV, and the last 2 weekends I've kind of cut work and worked until a certain time, and I got home in time just to catch a movie. catch a documentary, and I'll throw on Netflix, and I'll catch up. Like recently, I just watched the Jamie Foxx special, and I've been hearing positive things about that. And I said, you know what, I need to watch that. And so I worked, and I was like, you know what, now's a good time. I go home, and I never do this, but I'm gonna go home, make myself some tea, dim the lights, and watch the special. And I did that. Um, the old me, I would have needed some company. The old me would have said, "No, I'm not going to be home. That's just too depressing." But I've gotten so locked in with enjoying my peace. I can't tell you how priceless that is. So if you're a father and you're listening, and maybe you're not sure, and you still have questions, I'm telling you, I tell you guys this all the time when I get on these rants. You can message me, DM me, email me, whatever. If you have my number, you can text me, whatever it is, and I will share ways that I've helped get myself through this, get to a better place of where I'm at, get to a place where I can now help people, where I can now help other men, but not only that, also mentor kids. There's no way I'd be able to mentor kids if I wasn't strong, if I wasn't healed, if I wasn't, um, if I hadn't got to a point where my past hasn't been dealt with. You have to deal with your past. You can't avoid it. You have to deal with it. Make sure you've made peace with it so you can move forward and help. I can tell you that when I have helped people without realizing, it has helped me because there's a joy in that. There's a joy in being able to talk to somebody, have a conversation, and help them in whatever situation they're going through. There's a joy in that, and there's healing in that. It really is. Is life always going to be like this for me right now? No, it's not. We all know that. Life is a series of dips and peaks and valleys, right? So right now I'm in a peak. Who's to say I won't be in a valley in a week or two? Don't know. But that's life. I know now because life has thrown me so many peaks and valleys that I'm just used to it now. And I just deal with it. I don't get upset. I mean, I get upset, but I don't act out like I used to. I used to act out, and I don't do that anymore because it is what it is. I was just telling my ex-wife tonight. Um, I was telling her I was in Costco, and I had my AirPod in my ear, and I was listening to Justin Bieber, and the music that was on was making me so comfortable. I was at ease. I was so calm that as I was walking around Costco, I was noticing while I'm listening to this music, shopping, how nuts we are as a people. Like people were bumping into each other, they were arguing, they were rude, they were just aggressive. And here I am just kind of moseying on down the lane, trying to get what I need to get so I can get up out of there. And that's the level of peace I'm looking for. And that's the level of peace that I want. And I'm not perfect. There are days where I lose it, but I'm trying to keep that level of peace as much as possible. And when I start to get off, on a tangent, I try to, reel myself back in. And I guess that's all I wanted to tell you guys. How does that tie into John Mayer? John Mayer's music just brings me peace. It makes me feel good when I listen to it. And it's just peaceful. And it reminds me of a time when my life wasn't so peaceful and I was searching for peace. And for that few hours that I was at that concert, I was me again. And I liked it. And then 7 years later, God gives me a reminder while I'm in the store. It brings me peace. If I ever met John Mayer, I would shake his hand and just say, there was a time in my life where everything was just a complete tornado, and your music helped bring peace to my life. And I just want to thank you for that. That's what I would say. That's all I got, guys. 20-minute episode. I know, a little off the cuff, but hey, it's what I wanted to share with you. I hope you guys are doing well. I love you guys. I appreciate everybody that continues to support and listen to the podcast. And make sure you follow me on social media. It's Ray Molina on all the apps. And my website is raymolina.com. I got merch up there if you'd like to buy some merch. And YouTube is youtube.com/ The Perfect Mess Pod. And yeah, I don't ask for donations, but if you would like to donate, my Venmo is It's Ray Molina. I do have Zelle. I have Cash App. It's $ It's Ray Molina. By all means. And if you are on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And please share any videos that you like. I have a lot of videos up there, clips, shorts, everything. Please share them. And Spotify, Apple, subscribe, review, comment, follow, all the stuff, please. All right, that's all I got. Like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace.